Hello again, book lovers of the internet. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am Book Nerd 802, and in this video, I am going to be reviewing Chapter 5 of Pebs's story, Wolf and Warrior. He is one of my subscribers who sent me his story to review for him, and I decided to review it chapter by chapter because it's a brilliant story so far, and I have plenty to say. With Chapter 4, it was a 4 out of 5 stars read. With Chapter 5, it's more of a 5 out of 5 stars read, and I will let you know exactly why. Um, this one, much like the rest of the chapters, consisted of about 8 pages, and I really am enjoying the concept of how there's the history of the setting we're introduced to originally in the very first few chapters, expressed through a book within the story. So we have a story within a story kind of concept, and that is a very recurring kind of theme. We see stories expressed in this story, and there is a lot of lore going on. And the tale of Luden, who is a fantastic warrior who is then eventually turned into this beast, unfortunately, by elves, is a rather sad one, and I'm certain that it will only worsen from now on. Um, I don't really have any hopes that it will get any better, although I do understand that dreaming is a very important concept in this series. There will be a few spoilers from now on, so definitely keep that in mind as well, although these are the very first few chapters of the story, so there is a lot even I don't know yet. And she was so overpowered, basically, she just had to be nerfed somehow, and Pebs found the perfect way to do so. I'm not sure if Luden was in fact nerfed or if she was made even more powerful, but the way we see her work, she just kills everybody around her without much thinking as to whether they're her friends or her foes, and I am quite certain that in some way or other Kyo, the main character, the protagonist, is a relative of hers, and that is why there is such a strong connection, why they are both spoken about so often in the story, and why dreaming, why he basically met her in his dreams. To my knowledge, if I remember correctly, that is what happened. I could just be guessing as well, but in this chapter we got a battle which was written very well, and I could not look away. I was so immersed, I could literally see what was going on in my head, even though it's just words, there are no illustrations, and yet I could fully see what was going on, and I put myself into the context without much hassle, without any difficulty, as a matter of fact. And the Greens, the bad guys, got what they deserved, especially thanks to Luden, who saved the king at the time several times. However, when the elves showed up, that felt extremely unexpected, and I am still missing out on so much context as to why they would treat Luden in such a way. I don't understand why the elves just decided to show up and put so many people through so much misery for apparently no reason whatsoever. Perhaps it was because they thought the people were just trespassing, I guess, and they wanted their not revenge necessarily, they just wanted to get rid of them, since the place belonged to them historically and originally. And what was clever in terms of how the story is written was how Kyo was distracted whilst reading the story, the history of this battle, and so were we, since we are also reading through Kyo's eyes, which just added suspense in a subtle and very intelligent manner. I think that not many writers are able to pull that off. It's a small detail which not many critics might pick up on, but at the same time it's done so subtly yet so intelligently, and it builds onto the suspense of wanting to know what happens in the battle when there are distractions happening in the actual story in the present. And my only complaint is that there are some errors with sentence structure and word choices, very minor things. For instance, where is written WERE when it's meant to be WHERE, or something along those lines, which kind of decreases the value of the story. And there is a lot of value to the story. This is a story with plenty of potential. But yes, some minor errors which even writers tend to ignore once in a while, they kind of spoil the fun from reading, even if for a couple of seconds. And yeah, that is basically my only criticism. Still a 5 out of 5 stars chapter from my end, and I am insanely looking forward to reading more. Well, To be fair, I have already read chapter 6. I will be reviewing it in my next video. And yeah, I mean, that is literally my only complaint so far, because it is such an excellent story and not necessarily original, I would say, but very engaging and entertaining, and it will keep you hooked. It will put you in a position where you do want to find out what happens next. But anyway, that is all I had to say with regard to Chapter 5 from Pebs's Wolf and Warrior story. I'm not sure if that is going to be the title of the book or not, but that is what I am going to be referring to it as. And yeah, as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I'll see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Thanks for watching and bye guys.